Hello friends, thank you to those who have been watching some of my videos. I know some of you have been watching various things that I post, and I just wanted to thank you for that. And it's really thrilling for me to, to know that I'm making a difference, or at least entertaining people, and that you have been coming back to watch more things that I put up. It just feels really great on so many levels. So thank you for that. I wanted to take a brief moment and discuss some of the reasons I have chosen to let my hair grow out into its natural color, which at this point in time is silver, white in some places, mixed in with some really dark. So, it kind of can look different depending on the lighting and, the mix and whatever. Aside from the health reasons of not slathering chemicals on my head and soaking in them for 20 to 30 minutes, I have mentioned I was using a better developer that was less harsh, and I was able to leave it on for 15, but that's not been most people's reality, and I have at times put on a box dye, and that is a longer time of processing with also harsher chemicals. I have also mentioned that for most of my life that I was doing this, I started getting silver hairs at a young age, as a lot of people are these days, and I've been dyeing my hair since actually before that, because I experimented with making it black first before I even had a gray hair, and that caused stripping damage of my own natural color that then I was trying to correct. Then I've been covering the grays ever since. When I first saw a picture of Annika von Holt, that was when I actually started to realize that a woman could actually look even more beautiful, even more stunning with her natural silver hair in whatever configuration it is for her. Some people have all silver, all white, and some people have stripes. And it seems to look fabulous on the woman who has whatever she has, because it seems like nature knows how to complement whatever is going on with the changes of her face at that point. Once I saw this, I realized that, although the transition stage is often not gorgeous and can be tough to go through, that the final result would probably be worth waiting for, and that at the end of it, I'd probably like how I looked better than with the dyed hair. On top of this was I had become increasingly nervous about putting the chemicals on myself, whereas all the years I'd been doing it, I hadn't really thought it was an issue. I guess I thought it was safe. I didn't even think that much about it, though, to even think that. But there's other things, and a lot of you here may not know about this or have heard of it, and some of you may. But there are potential issues with something that's inside our brain called the pineal gland. Some people are becoming aware. I don't know if the information is accurate, truthfully, but I suspect it could be. Some people are becoming aware that fluoride is causing a problem with this gland inside of our brains. And so they're changing the toothpaste that they're using to ones that don't have fluoride, getting natural versions that don't have chemicals in them at all, because our skin absorbs, but our gums absorb even more. And other people are putting filters on their water systems so that this chemical, if they have city water, it's usually put in the city water now to keep it out from their water. I started to wonder if other chemicals could be harmful to the pineal gland as well, in addition to just other parts of our body and our overall health. And I came across some information that implies that there are many other chemicals that can impact this very important gland in our head. And I believe that the pineal gland regulates certain functions of the body, as does many of our other glands, but if you happen to have other knowledge that might be considered maybe a more metaphysical type of subject, it is talked about that the pineal gland has a direct correlation with something that is referred to as our third eye chakra, which is about here, and that this allows for a person to have more experiences that are beyond what we're limited to in the way most of us experience life through this physical body. Some people would term this like spiritual type of experiences, expanded type states of consciousness, where they can glimpse other information from what they might term God or the source of all that is or the universe, whatever way makes sense to a person and how they think about that, that information can begin to come directly from that source. And if the pineal gland is affected, apparently this shuts this down. I personally have had some experiences with this, somewhere it's been restricted, somewhere it's been expanded, and I too began having my own questions as to if the hair dye was impacting this. On top of this though, and perhaps in a way more importantly, once I started to see through the fact that I too had been being a sheeple in this area of how I was just automatically seeing and then labeling, our brains do this thing where it starts saying all this stuff without our even necessarily realizing it's saying all this stuff, and then we listen to that and we think that what it's saying is right, but most often what it's saying is from a conditioned point of view. And most of our conditioned point of views have come from childhood, from our parents, from teachers, from peers as we grew up, from the media and all this stuff. And so all these conditioned points of view are there, and then when we experience something in life, all these blurbs just go off, and we think that's us. We think that it's ourselves saying what's factual. And I've cleared a lot of this out. Not saying I cleared it all out, but I've cleared a lot of this out and can see just other general areas where people tend to act in this really automatic kind of way, and yet they think it's them. They think it's themselves, and they think it's their point of view or what they know to be true. And they act from there. And what I hadn't realized is that I was still coming from one of these programmed points of view about how I would see women with gray hair. That whole thing with, oh, if a man has gray hair, he looks hot. Like, he's gorgeous. Ooh, like fine wine, men just look better with time. But the same point of view hasn't been the case in how people have viewed women, including how other women have viewed women. And I have been of no exception. And I was sort of unhappy to realize that I was still doing this, even though I've cleared a lot of sheeple programming out. That until I actually saw a picture of Annika von Holt, I too actually had, if I saw a woman with graying hair, I'd think, oh, she'd let herself go. Oh, she'd look so much younger if she dyed her hair. That whole same kind of thing that everyone says is those thoughts were going off in my head. And now that I've come to see from so much research and looking at so many different women and their transition pictures, the befores and afters of so many women, and looking very closely at their face and what their face actually looks like with the dyed hair around it versus the silver hair around it versus the transitioning hair around it. And more often than not, I noticed for myself when I was really looking at it and not just letting the same programming run and buying into it without realizing that was what I was doing, is that these women look better most of the time. They look younger, they look more vibrant, their face looks prettier with their natural coloring grown out. So, in addition to the fact that I just don't want to put dye on my hair anymore, and that I actually do feel, now that I can see it for what it is, that a person, if their coloring is transitioning in their skin to a point where their hair starts kind of going in the silvery, white, gray direction, does tend to look better on them. It's important to me to also now be a stand, to be a symbol. And I get it. Like, if I'm walking out there and people see me today, if I'm in the store, they're probably thinking what I was thinking, what most people are thinking. Oh, if she, what is she doing? She is so late on dyeing her hair. She needs to dye that. She'd look so much better if she dyed her hair. Is she letting herself go? I'm sure that they're thinking that about me. I get it. I get that just because I'm doing this, even once it's transitioned, it doesn't mean that the people in the grocery store are going to automatically one day just see me and think, wow, gray hair is really beautiful. Like, I should do it too. I get that. But I also get that if I were to succumb and go back to dyeing it, which I really don't want to do just for my own purposes, but if I were to do that, then I'm not helping. I'm not helping it to be different one day. To help people to kind of at some point realize it does look really good. It does look pretty. She does look pretty with her hair that color. Elsa from Frozen looks really pretty with her hair that color. Why can't we? So I just wanted to share that with you because I'm really passionate about this now, and there's a movie I hear that's coming out. I believe it's supposed to be coming out at the end of this year sometime. It's called Grey is the New Blonde. I really wish I would have started my transition when I first saw the picture of Annika van Holt, because if I did, I would have probably heard about that movie as it was being in production, and I could have, I could have made a video and seen if they wanted me to be in it. I would have loved to have been part of that, to have been a more out there public person speaking to help people see this difference. But in spite of that fact, that movie is coming out and I'm very excited about it. It's great, and I feel like it's going to help some people see. Do I think it's going to be in a major theater near you? Probably not, but it's going to be out there. It's going to be somewhere, and people are going to see it. More people are going to see it, and more people hopefully will start to have their blinders taken off, and they'll start to see the truth for themselves. And I want to be a stand in that. If you're not ready to be there, that's cool, man, because nobody could have convinced me I was ready before I got ready. And I am not saying anything of what I'm saying from a place of judgment for anyone who isn't ready. We should all do what makes us feel our best. We should all do what makes us the happiest, because a happy humanity is going to make for a better world. All of us, ideally, need to find what really resonates for us and to live that, and to live our passion, and to live our bliss, and to live our joy in a way that doesn't harm other people. When more of us start to do that, and ultimately, ideally, a humanity at large starts to do that, this world can be a beautiful place. It's just that people have been so out of alignment, so miserable, feeling so bad about themselves, feeling so lowly, and not understanding how creation itself actually works and how powerful we are in our minds and what we're generating, that this that we have seen out there is going on, and that the harm people do to each other has been happening. And as a byproduct, when people are in alignment, happy and less stressed, and ideally eating food that actually still has minerals in it, this will probably stop happening anyway. Until then, I kind of really dig this color. If I had the choice to change it naturally, I don't know if I would, and I've been wondering that lately. If I could magically wave a wand, maybe I'd make it all grow out at this point. But would I change it back? Or would I make it platinum blonde? Or would I make it red? I don't know. I don't know. But when we're nourished properly and not in stress and in our happiness, we will age less. It will slow down. Anyway, peace, my friends. Thank you for joining me here. If you've liked any of my videos or going on your own growing out your hair journey, have been inspired by anything I've had to say, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit the don't like if you don't, although I do hope you did. Leave me a comment if you wish. I usually do get around to answering them. Sometimes I do get busy and it takes me longer. It usually takes me more than a few days. I'll just be honest right there. But I do love reading them, and I do love writing back to you. I love the interaction, and thank you so much for those of you who have been interacting with me. It really is awesome, and I really like it, and it gives me the feeling like I'm talking to someone when I then go on and make more videos, and I really love you guys being there and interacting with me in that way. So thank you for that, and enjoy whatever journeys in your life float your boat.